Shalom Aleichem, welcome to Machan Lahira Online Smicha. You know that in the end of Perik Chamishi of Pirkei Avos, the Mishnah lists off different years, monumental years in a person's life. Ben Shloisha, it starts off Ben Chamisha, Ben Chamesh Lemikra, Ben Esther Lemishnah, then it goes Ben Shloisha Esther Lemitzvahs, 18, 20, 30, 40, and it goes and it titles every set time with a special title. So I want to stop about discussing some of the things that the Mishnah mentions as a person lives his life. La'arichus yomim v'shanim tovos. So we know that b'shloish esrei l'mitzvos, we know that's when a person becomes a mechoyev l'mitzvos. Yet, even though he becomes mechoyev l'mitzvos by shloish esrei, the next statement says ben esrim li'erdoif. Ben Esrim Li'erdoif means when you turn 20, the simple taich is it's time to go find a job. It's kind of, you're struggling. You struggle for parnasa. However, others taich different. That Rashi says that even though a person when he becomes 13, he's a chayiv b'chol mitzvahs. However, Bezdin Shalmaila doesn't give punishment yet, and we'll soon see why. Because even though a child turns 13, the only way he becomes mechuyev for sure is only if he has the physical raya from his guf that he's mature. So halacha l'moshe Sinai that if a person doesn't have all the rayas, his physical bodies, he's not yet becoming mechuyev b'mitzvahs until he turns 20. And if by 20 nothing has proven, then now he becomes fully obligated in everything. So therefore, Ben Esrim Li'erdoif means that now Bezdin chases after him and gives him punishment, even if he hasn't proven himself physically of being a mature adult. Rabbeinu Yoina is the one that says what I said before, that at 20 years old, you have to chase your parnasa, because it's time to find a family, and v'chulu v'chulu. The Gemara says that Kedushin Daf Chavtes Amid Beis Amar Rava V'chein Tana Revei Bishmol, that until a person turns 20, the Eibishter waits and hopes when will he find a wife and get married. When he turns 20, V'loi Nos, and he's not married, the Eibishter says Teipach Atzmoisov, Chas v'shalom, let the person's bones plots. The Marsha says, since there are three partners in the person, the father and mother, and from the parents, there's the father is the one that gives the life to the bones. So this one who doesn't continue the legacy, therefore he weakens his bones, and this is what the Gemara means. So what does the taka mean that Ben Esrim Li'erdoif? That up to 20 years you have to try to find yourself a shidduch, but after 20 years they chase him and they punish him for not getting married. And it's actually brought that the grandfather of the Chidah in his Sefer Chesed L'Avram writes that according to the Kabbalah, when somebody became 20 years old, the night of the 20th birthday, he should stay up a whole night and make a mishmar of learning all night. And many would call it, the mishmar would call it the leil, and in many yeshivas they do that too. And when you turn 20, they call it leil tepach. The night of that, if they're not married, they're just trying to push away the negative things that the Gemara says that happens to a 20-year-old that doesn't marry. That's the 20-year-old. The Mishnah goes on to say, Ben Shloishim lekoyach, a 30-year-old has koyach. Why is the Mishnah? What does that mean? He's very strong. He's mighty. So the Mefarshim say it's telling you that now you have enough strength to be able to overcome any challenges, and nothing should stand in your way to do good. Ben Arbarim Lebina, Ben Chamishim Le'etza, Ben Shishim Lezikna. Shishim Lezikna specifically highlight. And with that, I want to introduce a Gemara in Marit Katan Daf Chav Ches Amud Aleph. The Gemara says, Meis B'Chamishim Shana, someone who passes away at 50, Zui Mises Kares. That is the punishment of Kares. Chamishim Mishtayim Shana, if you pass away at 52, Zui Misase Shel Shmuel Haramasi. Shishim, if a person manages to live 60 years and he passes away, Zui Misa B'dei Shemayim. And the Gemara goes on to say, Amma Marzutra, my crow, what does the pasuk mean when it says, Tavai v'chelach eli kever? What does the pasuk mean? You shall come to your grave in ripe age, chelach. So the Gemara says, chelach is b'gematria 60. So it's ripe age, 60 years, but at the same time, it's somebody who dies young for whatever reason, as we mentioned before. Shivim, if somebody makes it to 70, seva. Seva is old age. Shmoinim, gvurais. And he brings, and Amar Rabba says, mechamishim va'at shishim shana zu misas kares. Anybody who makes it between 50 and 60, it's kares. And then shishim is misa b'dei shemayim. The Gemara says a story. Rabbi Yosef, when he returned 60 years old, he made a big feast for the Chachamim. Amar, he says, Nafkili mekaris. Thank God, I'm exempt. I'm out of any punishment of karis. Amalei Abayas says to he, Nehin and Nafik leimar mekaris tishni. You are right that you passed the karis of years. Mekaris diyomi mi nafik mar. Did you pass the karis of days? Because there are a different type of karis that could also happen based on the days. Amalei, so he responded, you know what? The koitlach mia palga biyadach. At least I'm celebrating that I passed half of the trouble. I don't have the karis of years. So we see that the 50, 60 is a symbol in the life expectancy, and it's a time where if the Eibishter blesses you, you make it, you know you don't have that punishment. And that's why we find that many would celebrate this as a special birthday. And it's actually brought that in Sefer Leket Yosher, he brings that the Trumas Hadeshin, the Baal Trumas Hadeshin, when he turned 60 years old, invited two elderly people. He made a Siyam Masechta, and he celebrated. And it's also brought in the Ben Ish Chai, in Parshas Re'ei Siman Tes, that when a person turns 60, he should really make a feast, say a Shechianu, either Bali Shem Malchus, just on the day, but if he wants to make a Shechianu Shem Malchus, he should wear a Berget Chodesh, because it's a special day. I'm celebrating that I left the possibility of Chas v'Shalom, any punishment. There is a letter from the Rebbe, Chavdal L'Tevis Tavshin Yudalu. The Rebbe writes to some great Rav, and the Rebbe says, I hear that you turned 60, and Bevadei K'mayim Razal, of course, like the Chazal say, that you're gonna make a party, and I will participate from the far. And the Rebbe says, Yodua Amuva B'Rishonim, it's known what the Rishonim say, many different gerses in the Mishnah, what happens when Beishishim. Some say Beishishim L'Zikna, some say Beishishim L'Bina, some say Beishishim L'Chachma, and the Kisvei Arizal says Beishishim L'Seva. So the Rebbe says, they're all good. I wish you all of them to apply by you. And the last thing, until you get to 100, so the Mishnah says, B'meya Ke'ilu Meis V'avar Batul Min Ha'elam. So the Rebbe asks a question. All other ones in this statement in the Mishnah tell you an instruction, give you encouragement. What kind of encouragement is when you tell somebody you're 100-year-old, you're like gone, Meis Batul Min Ha'elam. So the Rebbe flips it around and says, if a person managed to survive the world and he's doing good and he's connecting to Hashem, and he had a Riches Yom until he became Meya, Meisu Batul Min Ha'elam does not mean he's history, he's gone. It means he's achieved so much, he doesn't get affected from the narishkeit in the world. He stands above it all.